Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. I cannot believe that game. Crazy, crazy game, guys. My heart's still beating super fast. Way too fast, guys. What a comeback by Napoli. Incredible stuff, incredible spirit. Just fantastic. And I see you guys are super excited. I told you guys to rank this game out of 10. I'm getting a 9.2 from Anthony Navarro, a 7.5 out of 10 from ID Beats. Maximus is in the house with a 7. Shackman is in the house with an 8. Anthony's saying they can hear me. That's great. No technical issues. Guys, what a game. What a game. Man, Fiorentina really had us in the first half. They really had us in the first half. And we came back at them. We showed them that this team has the attributes to do something special this year. This is a team that, just like Inter, is able to win when things are not going great from the start. Some will say Juventus did that against Torino. Juventus haven't done enough of that this season. Inter and Napoli have consistently overcome difficult moments. These are the two teams that will, in my opinion, go furthest this year. Let's see what Milan do against Atalanta. Let's see if they can overcome that test. But for me, these are the two teams that are the strongest by far this year. And I'm super stoked about this. 7 out of 7, guys. 7 out of 7. We go into the break being on top, undefeated, 100%. No other team in Europe has this record, guys. The game against Spartak, we lost in Europa League, and I think it's a defeat that we learned a lot from that. We learned a lot from that defeat. We learned to not lose our heads. We learned to react. We learned to stay in the game. We learned to be a team, and we showed that immediately today. EJ Wise, thank you for the 9.99 donation. That free kick goal winner made this a 10 out of 10 for me. Let's go, guys. Guys, Napoli is a complete team. We can score in any way. Osimhen long balls, free kicks, tiki-taka. We've done it all this year, guys. We've literally done it all. And that's what's so encouraging about this team, is that you feel like a goal can come at any point. And today, we showed that. It came in two very different methods, in two very different ways. And the fact that Insigne missed a penalty and we managed to still score. He missed a penalty. He missed a rebound and we still managed to score on the second rebound. There's something in the air. Guys, there is something in the air this year. I don't know what it is. I don't know what. But someone up there, maybe it's this man behind me, but someone this year is guiding Napoli, because this is crazy. 2 years ago, we would have lost 3 out of these 7 games, let alone draw. And there's something going on this year. There's something in this team. The maturity of this team, Spalletti, just fantastic. Let's see what other people are saying. 9 out of 10 from Rafael Pimental. Hussein is saying a 6. A 6 out of 10. This game had everything, man. This game was a crack of a game. The team were exhausted. He said, yeah, I mean, the team didn't play amazing, but I'm saying the game in general. How into the game were you? I mean, for me, I know that it was super difficult to prepare for the live, prepare the match analysis while trying to watch the game. I think I'm starting to develop, what do you call it, when like people have eyes that go in 2 different directions? Because I had one eye on the game, one eye trying to do my analysis. I couldn't stop watching. 7 out of 10 says Blue Life. Tariq 8.5. Joshua 8.5. Welcome to the house, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Let's see what we're saying here. IDB is saying Spalletti can ensure survival with just 19 more points. If we stay up, it will be a miracle of Europe. Yeah, guys, I mean, we it's not even worth joking that we're fighting relegation. Obviously, if we think about it, 21 points. We only need another 50 or so, and we're pretty much guaranteed Champions League football. And you'd think Napoli can win another 15 games from now until the end of the season. So I think Napoli at this point in time should already start to consider, all right, fourth spot seems to be, I think we've got that covered, especially with Lazio losing. We'll see today if Atalanta are going to lose, but if Atalanta lose today, then really it's just between us, Milan, and Inter for the title. Let me just check 1 second what Roma did today because I lost track of their game. Let's see. Roma won, right? So we've still got Roma to consider, but still they're 6 points behind. Obviously, we do play them in a bit. So, but it'd be difficult for Napoli to become fifth, especially if Atalanta lose today. But anyways, I'm getting carried away. Seunara Adediran is saying very mature, mentally aware game. I 100% agree with that. Maximus is saying, don't jinx it. I'm not going to jinx it. Don't worry. Striking Bin is saying they were playing awesome till Mairo Rui and the game felt bland after the red. That's relating, I guess, to the Thursday game. Kanuhan Flame, we were terrible until our scrappy first goal, so I don't think it was more than a 7 out of 10 from us. But after that point, excellent match. I agree with you. Napoli played a 7 out of 10, but I'm talking about the game, the intensity, the heart that this team shows. And from Fiorentina's side as well, tactically, this game was beautiful. There was so much going on tactically. You have two great coaches, Spalletti and Italiano on the other side. Great coaches. And let's go into the match analysis because Italiano made it extremely hard for us. I mean, this is how he set up Fiorentina, okay? So immediately, as I would do if I were to go against Napoli, I would put two strikers, one on Rahmani, one on Koulibaly, and I would put my strongest striker on Rahmani, obviously, because Rahmani's a great defender, but he's not Koulibaly. So, what did Italiano do? He put Vlahovic on Rahmani, and then he put Bonaventura, which is usually a midfielder, he put him onto Koulibaly, all right? And then the role of Bonaventura is for him to be there so that Koulibaly doesn't gang up on Vlahovic, so that it's not a 2-against-1 situation. So Bonaventura he's meant to keep Koulibaly there. But what he does, and we can see it from another frame, what he does is that because Koulibaly has to sort of keep an eye on him, Koulibaly can't go to Vlahovic, but also Koulibaly can't go towards Bonaventura too much because then it creates a gap between Rahmani and Mairo Rui. So you get this situation where Bonaventura finds a really good spot in between the Napoli lines. And the objective for Fiorentina is obviously get the ball to Bonaventura. He can then turn around and then try to link up with Vlahovic. Now, that was the game plan, but Koulibaly and Rahmani were very, very, very solid at the back, and they did not allow them to do that. If the midfield had been a bit better today, maybe they wouldn't have had so much of the ball in the first half. But because the midfield was a bit absent in the first half, they managed to get in between our lines quite a lot. But then once it was there, Koulibaly and Rahmani took care of the situation. But that was the game plan by Italiano. And then them pressing us was also a huge issue for Napoli. So we can see here a classic Napoli move. Ospina to Koulibaly, Mairo Rui to Insigne. And then Insigne is just there thinking, well, who do I pass it to? Because the two midfielders are completely encaged by the Fiorentina players. There's 5-against-2 situation pretty much. And so Insigne, rightly so, decides, well, I've got to go on this on my own. And to be fair, he does a pretty good job. He gets all the way to the other side of the field, but then the midfield today was super absent in the first half. There is no one there to support Insigne. It's a 3-against-1 situation. Insigne runs right into the Fiorentina defender and we lose the ball. And that's again because there's no one in the midfield making the run. You can kind of see Frank Anguissa trying to make a run, but he's about 10 meters away from where he really should be. So Fiorentina put us in a lot of trouble in the first half, both with the way they attacked and the way they defended, and primarily because Napoli didn't have a good midfield. Now let's see what some of the comments are saying before I continue my match analysis. Diego Marquez is in the house. Team showed a lot of character coming back from behind. Also nice to see Mertens back. Yeah, that was one of the highlights of today's game. Finally seeing Mertens. He's been away for so many months, and he'll be at his best after the break. He's got another 2 weeks to prepare. Let's see. Rafael Pimenti saying, hope we can keep the momentum going after the international break. Let's hope so. I think this break, usually when teams are playing so well and, we've got 7 out of 7 wins, you think, oh, this international break is not what we needed, right? Because you want to keep that momentum. For Napoli, I think it came at the right time. I think there's a lot of players that need a rest, and hopefully they can get that rest with this 2-week period. For example, Fabian Ruiz, who is one of the players that mostly needs a rest, thankfully did not get called up for the Spanish squad. That means he's got 2 weeks to just recover, and that's going to be fundamental for Napoli's season. Other players, hopefully, will also get a chance to recover. Politano might get a chance to recover. Mertens as well. Zielinski, if Poland doesn't play him too much. There's a lot of players that are not necessarily going to play every minute of their international games, and so it's good for them to relax. And for other players, actually going to the national team might give them the right amount of minutes to get back in form. Let's see. Canuhan Flame is saying our next game is against Torino, who are on form. Yeah, Torino, I think, played really well against Juventus, and I think they only lost because they took away their strikers in the last 15 minutes and allowed Juventus to come at them. So it's a very strange move by Ivan Juric in the Torino-Juventus game. Pippo Longhi is saying Insigne's match was undertone. Yeah, I 100% agree. Worst player for Napoli today on the field. Anthony Navarro is saying it was such smart work from Italiano. Bonaventura usually is an attacking mid, but a Mertens role similarly, and him pushing to KK opened up the midfield well for Fiorentina. Yeah, it provided them such a good option for them to pass the ball from midfield and link up the attack. Napoli talk, we are winning matches that we wouldn't have last season, says ID Beats. Fabrizio Landria is also here. Ciao Fabrizio. Maximus is saying, so when does Gulam actually play? Gulam probably might get a chance in the Europa League after the break. We got to be very, very careful with Gulam. We have to almost consider him as a bonus. If he does get any minutes, that's a bonus. And then we'll see, I think maybe after Christmas, maybe then he'll be able to challenge competitively for a starting spot if he shows in the next 2 months that he can come on as a sub and do well and stay fit. Otherwise, you risk that he starts a game and then you're always going to have to sub him off on the 60th minute. We had that situation last year with Gattuso a few times where Gulam did start a few games, if you guys remember, and then he had to be subbed off after an hour because he just didn't have the fitness to do all 90 minutes. Osimhen is really difficult to stop. Don't even go one-on-one with him. You won't stand a chance, says Seunara. Alessio Bianco is saying, I have to say that Elmas keep on disappointing me. Good player, but nothing special. When he plays, he's never decisive. I agree with Alessio. From Elmas, I want to see a 22-year-old that is wanting to do so much. He's got so much talent. He needs to come on every game and have the desire, the fire in his eyes to win matches. Instead, we'll see later that he misses actually quite an easy chance. And maybe I should have actually given him a lower rating than I actually gave him in this game. But we can see how we really struggled in the first half, where it seemed like we were ball watching a lot of the time. Ball watching and a lack of energy. So here we've got a situation where Koulibaly takes the ball from Bonaventura, and we've got four Napoli players, including Koulibaly, against one Fiorentina player, and then Zielinski and Frank Anguissa, the next closest people to Koulibaly. So 6 against 1, maybe 6 against 2 if we consider Callejon is also there. But we leave Koulibaly completely by himself. No one supports Koulibaly. Mario Rui doesn't try to get on the left wing. Insigne doesn't come from left forward to the left wing to try to support Koulibaly. Zielinski doesn't fill in the gap. Anguissa doesn't fill in the gap. Everyone's ball watching. And Koulibaly is forced to lose the ball. And that was, I think, a key issue for us in the first half. Not enough support from the midfielders. The defenders were left completely isolated. And actually, credit to them for only having conceded a goal on a corner. Talking about corners, this is the goal that Fiorentina scored. The ball comes in. I talked about in my previous live how we were quite shaky at the back from set pieces. It is something we need to work on. This time, we were not defending so much zonally. We had more people man marking, but we were switched off on the second ball. So you can see Vlahovic gets the header over Fabian, and then Martinez is able to go in behind Zielinski, and Zielinski doesn't really realize the run that Martinez is making, and look at where he is now, 2 meters ahead of Zielinski, and Zielinski is just watching. No reaction from Zielinski. He's watching the ball. Mistake number one in all of football is watching the ball. You have to, instead of watch, you have to go to where the ball will be, and that's what Fiorentina did. They were more switched on. Zielinski instead let us down a little bit. Maybe Fabian could have done a little bit better as well. Let's see some of the comments. Is saying IDB is saying Lozano was great at tracking back. It was a noticeable difference in his game, and I put that on his fitness. He looked fit to properly play today. Yeah, I agree. Lozano looked very, very good today. EJ Wise is saying, I think Elmas just needs to be left on the bench for a game or two so he knows his minutes aren't guaranteed. Yeah. But also, maybe he needs to start a few more games, because I think he's also someone that needs to... It's not fair that we never give him enough time to get into a rhythm. And the few times that he does start, he actually plays okay. Against Spartak, he scored in 12 seconds. So he's just unlucky that he's got 3 phenomenal players ahead of him, Frank, Zielinski, and Fabian. So this is Fiorentina going ahead, and then immediately Napoli, though, we managed to get a penalty, and this is Route 1 football from Napoli. Long ball to Osimhen. Osimhen beats the defender with speed, and the defender is, well, I wouldn't say forced, but the defender pulls him down, and this is, our most effective way to attack this season. We've done it time and time again. It seems to work. People are calling for Napoli to do it more often. I think we need to be very careful with what we wish for, because we need to be selective about when we do it. If you do something too often, it becomes predictable. We need to play both long balls and play it short so that the other team cannot position themselves to always, sit deeper. They have to sometimes go forward because we might play the short passes, and then when they do that, then we play it forward. You feel me? If you're too repetitive, then it doesn't work anymore. So that's why we don't do it all the time. But when we do it, we pick the right moments and it works. So, yeah. I mean, obviously, guys, if we were to do it every single time, I think teams would position themselves very differently from how they do. But if we do it once every 5, then that one time that we do it, then obviously it's going to work a lot better. And this is the crazy moment. Insigne takes the penalty. The goalkeeper saves it. Insigne goes in with the follow-up with his head. Actually shows a tremendous amount of bravery to put his head on that, because that the goalkeeper is going to come out and try to punch that. But he puts his head there. The goalkeeper manages to get something on it. It goes towards the outside, but Lozano is quick to react and gets in there before the Fiorentina players and makes it 1-1, and we go into the break 1-1. But before we go into the break, guys, we have this incredible situation where Zielinski lofts the ball to Osimhen, and Osimhen with a bicycle kick goes inches away from the goal. And guys, if this goal would have gone in, I think the ref would have called it 2-1, half-time, and no need to come back for the second half. Fiorentina lose on, that's it. You don't need to play anymore after a goal like that. That's it. Game over. Everybody goes home, and we can call it a day. I think that would have been a good way to end the game with Osimhen with that bicycle kick. If I was ref, that's what I would have done. But guys, I mean, this place would have been completely destroyed if Osimhen scored something like that. I would have just flipped the desk. I don't know what I would have done. I would have ripped the shirt. I almost fainted. When I saw that. It was a crazy, crazy acrobatic effort by Osimhen. Absolutely wild. I didn't know he had that in him, that technique. He's shown he has. This kid is something special. He is the striker of the next few years in all of Europe. Him and Haaland, pretty much. Daniel Bowen, thank you for the €5 donation. Thank you so much. 7 hearts, 7 blue hearts for our 7 victories. Thank you so much, man, for supporting the channel. I saw on Twitter that you were at the Stadio Artemio Franchi. Man, that must have been a crazy, crazy experience. I wish I was there, man. I wish I was there. I wish I was following this Napoli team. I wish I was living in Italy and following this Napoli team. What an experience it must be to witness that game. I mean, obviously I got the chance to go to Leicester and watch that game, and it was brilliant, but we didn't get a win. Must have been crazy today to witness the comeback against Fiorentina. Blue Line is saying Unas should stay at Napoli and start next matches. So Unas did not play today because he got injured yesterday at the end of training. So it's not a big injury, but it was enough to keep him out maybe for this game and maybe until the next one. Nothing too serious though. In the second half, actually, before we score our goal, because we scored quite early, but before we scored our goal, Fiorentina started better. Fiorentina started better. Look at how much pressing they have. So in this situation, Anguissa has the ball, and there's 5 Fiorentina players around him. There's another player, Callejon, on the right, which is also in the picture. So you've got 6 Fiorentina players in Napoli's defensive third. You've got another 2 that you can see on the other side of the screen. You can see the shadow of another one next to Lozano. So you've got 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 9 Fiorentina players in Napoli's half when Napoli has the ball. Huge amounts of pressure, and this is where Anguissa is a million times better than Bakayoko, because Bakayoko here would have lost the ball and we would have been screwed. And it's instead his skill. He's able to turn around, pass it to Zielinski, and now all of a sudden the field opens up for us. Okay. Now, I think Zielinski in this situation could have done a bit better. I think he should have tried and go more vertical himself. Instead, he pulls the ball horizontally towards Lozano. In my opinion, that's a mistake. He should have seen that Lozano is being pressed, and actually we end up losing the ball here. I think, yeah. I mean, maybe Zielinski, I guess you can see Zielinski had another player on him as well, but I would have liked to see him try a very similar thing from what Anguissa did. You know, he's very good at dribbling. It's one of his main things, Zielinski, where he receives the ball and is able to turn very quickly around a defender and get rid of him. If he would have done that, it would have been like a 5-against-2 situation against Fiorentina. Instead, he goes to Lozano, and Lozano sandwiched at that point, and he's not as good as Zielinski as turning around very quickly. He loses the ball, but it's thanks to Lozano that we get a free kick a few minutes later, and in this free kick, Insigne and Zielinski, they play a little game. First Zielinski, then it's like, oh no, you go, then Insigne, and then oh no, you go, and everybody's confused. And I was confused. I was saying, well, Zielinski's on his left foot. What's he doing here? And then he whips in, this crazy cross, absolutely gorgeous cross, and it's perfect for Rahmani's head to get to the end of that. Rahmani slots it into the bottom corner, and Napoli win 2-1 thanks to that goal. But amazing from Zielinski, a beautiful ball with his weaker foot. Honestly, what technique, and Rahmani showing us how it's done. And the difference between Rahmani and Manolas is also in that Manolas on Thursday caught offside when he scored the goal, very similar to this. Rahmani, not offside. Both very similar situations, but one player is slightly more switched on than the other. And that's the difference as well between Rahmani and Manolas at the moment. But Rahmani had a monumental game. Monumental game, guys. This is what happened a few minutes later with this incredible save to deny Fiorentina a goal. Because trust me, guys, this was going in. He's on full stretch at that moment. Almost scores an own goal. But he's able to just get enough on it so that doesn't happen. Fiorentina still have the ball. They put it back into the middle, and this time Zielinski and Fabian are there to support, and credit to them for being there to support. In this moment in time, the midfield was where it needed to be. The midfield did come back and recover, and that was fundamental for Napoli. The ball then goes to Anguissa, and we're able to clear it away, but fundamental play from Rahmani. Koulibaly was switched on as well. The midfield was switched on. In the second half, we played very, very well defensively in the second half. And we tried to hit Fiorentina several times on the counter, and Politano and Osimhen, especially Politano when he came on, were incredible. Were just incredible at stretching Fiorentina, at trying to get chances, and honestly, we should have had a few goals. Probably the biggest chance that we had was this one with Osimhen. He gets past the Fiorentina player brilliantly, using his body once again and speed, and then has the vision to pick out Elmas, and somehow Elmas, from point-blank range, misses. Guys, by the way, if you're liking the analysis of the game, make sure you're smashing that like button. It really helps the channel. And I donate a cent to the Cannavaro Ferrara Foundation for every like and new subscriber that joins the channel. Last month we had an absolutely crazy month, a lot of donation, and yeah, it's a cause that I really care about, that I really want to support, and it also helps the channel grow. It helps reach more people, and it makes this a lot more fun with more people in the chat if this gets pushed on to more people. So guys, make sure you're smashing that like button, guys. Let's see some of the comments. Kleto saying Rahmani with the little sweaty guy emoji. Ospina more fit than Meret. I don't want to see Meret until he is ready, says Anthony Navarro. I prefer Meret to Ospina, but Meret needs to be 100%. That's a fair point. I think that's such a polarizing argument, Meret versus Ospina, but right now, whether you're a Meret fan or an Ospina fan, I think it's very clear that Ospina is in the form of his life at the moment. I just feel safe with him in the back at the moment, and long may it continue. And it sucks for Meret, it really does. But Ospina has been fantastic, and Meret is a great goalkeeper, and I'm sure he'll find time and space at some point throughout the season. I don't want to see Meret until Ospina is tired, says ID Beats. They're two different players. Notice the difference in our defense. When Ospina is there, he makes everyone confident. Yeah, I agree. Although Meret did have some great games as well, but I do think that Ospina, for this team, is fundamental at the moment for the way that we play. It just looks better. It looks better with Ospina there. People Long is saying, I just hope Milan gets stomped by Atalanta tonight. Yeah. I mean, a nice draw would be nice, to be fair. So this was the Elmas chance. Then we had the Politano chance, where Politano was running at the Fiorentina defense and so close to scoring, had Dragowski scrambling for his front post. And just a great piece of play by Politano in the second half. And the defense as well was fantastic. Koulibaly, Rahmani, Di Lorenzo, those three guys, they kept three very, very strong players in their pockets throughout the whole game. You see here a 3v3 situation. The ball gets sent out to Vlahovic, and then Di Lorenzo is so good at forcing Vlahovic wide. Not even forcing him, to his weaker foot or anything, just completely wide, just going off to the corner flag, which is great. That's what you want to see. Nothing stupid from Di Lorenzo, and Politano's really good at that point to double up on him and make it a 2v1 and get the ball from Vlahovic. And then, Fiorentina in the last few minutes, they put bodies forward. At one point, they had 4 or 5 strikers up in attack. Napoli defense was great to make sure that they didn't do anything too dangerous. And then because they had so many players forward, they lacked a lot of people in midfield, and Napoli was then able to get control of the midfield again and break actually quite often with Politano. And if Unas was playing today, but he's injured, but if Unas was playing there, he would have also been a very lethal weapon for Napoli. So that's how the game went. A crazy game, tactically played at very high levels. Tactically, this was the best game I've seen in a very long time. And the ratings show that Napoli, or at least my ratings, show that Napoli had a fantastic game. Ospina, the goal that he conceded, not his fault. Every other time, he was quick off the line. Great shot stopping, and just instills confidence in the defense, as ID Beats was saying in the chat. He's also saying Koulibaly was boss, man of the match for me, even though Rahmani scored. Koulibaly killed attacks all on his own today. For me, Rahmani, man of the match. He scored the goal. That's already, if you score the winning goal, that's already a +1 point for you. And then that intervention that he had, where he's on full stretch, that was just, for a defender, I think he's had the perfect day. There's nothing more that he could have done. And for me, Rahmani had a much harder job today, because as I showed at the start of the analysis, he was the one that Vlahovic was on the entire game. Vlahovic did not go up against Koulibaly. He's too smart for that. Vlahovic tried to go up against Rahmani, and Rahmani kept him in his pocket. So Koulibaly, yes, he was great, but Rahmani kept a striker like Vlahovic quiet all game. So for me, man of the match. He did everything perfectly, Rahmani. In fact, I think I'm being maybe a bit harsh with an 8 out of 10. I think maybe he deserves an 8.5, to be honest with you. But yeah, guys, make sure you are smashing that like button, guys. If you enjoy the Napoli victory, if you enjoy the analysis after the game, if you enjoy the match ratings, do smash that like button, guys. Maximus is saying, well, 38 seconds and it's Milan 1-0. That's just great. But, it's also... Look, I understand how we don't want Milan to win necessarily, but it's also a good result if Milan win, because it keeps Atalanta so far behind us. And it just kind of, as I said before, it almost guarantees us going into the Champions League already. We're only 7 games in, but if Atalanta lose today, it's very hard for them to recover so many points on Napoli. So, yeah. Let's see what else we're saying. IDB is saying, I see why you picked Rahmani. For sure he had a better performance, but it's been a long time coming for Koulibaly to have a boss game. I just love seeing Koulibaly in this form, so I am biased. I mean, I love Koulibaly. I think Koulibaly, though, he had a fantastic game, for example, against Juventus. He had a fantastic game just in so many other occasions. I think today Rahmani was slightly better than Koulibaly, in my opinion. But everyone did well. Di Lorenzo did well. Di Lorenzo pushing forward did well. Mario Rui had a bit of a calmer game, and I can see that after his red card against Spartak Moscow. maybe not so confident. The midfield, I'm giving them all a 6.5 because they were very absent in the first. The midfield in the first half deserves a 5. I'm going to be very straight up about that. They deserve a 5 in the first half. Completely absent, static, ball watching. All three of them. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll have seen me tweet about it. But in the second half, they turned it up. Zielinski with the beautiful cross for the goal. Anguissa and Fabian in the second half were all over the field, regained control of the midfield, and it allowed Napoli to stay at the 2-1. So they recovered quite well, and that's why I'm giving them a 6.5. Insigne a 6 for having missed the penalty and the rebound, and then he didn't really do that much more. And I didn't like his reaction when he came off, so I would have given him a 6.5, but his reaction when he came off, that he didn't shake hands with Spalletti, I didn't like that, so I'm giving him a 6 for today's game. Lozano, 6.5. I thought, okay, so he scored, thought he was great, but really until the goal, he was very quiet. I think he did the first 40 minutes that he was very quiet. Then from 40 until 60, when he came off, he was a bit better. Caused a lot of issues, got us the free kick, and that's what I think bumps up his performance from a 6 to a 6.5. Because before that, it was really just a 6. All he did was the tap in. Cleto is not agreeing with me on that. He's saying, dude, what WTF? Maybe I don't know. Let me know why. Let me know why you disagree with that. And then Osimhen, I'm giving him a 7.5 simply because he was completely alone up top and single-handedly got us the penalty. Without Osimhen today, without that penalty, guys, we would have been nowhere. Completely nowhere. Without that penalty, Napoli would not have won. We probably would not have reacted the way we reacted in the second half. If we went into halftime losing 1-0, I think Napoli would have lost the game. The fact that we got the penalty thanks to Osimhen, 1-1, it just allowed us to come back in the second half a lot stronger. And then in the second half, he was alone up top again, and he was chasing every single ball. He gave Elmas an opportunity on a plate. He said, go on, lad, put it in. And Elmas didn't. Incredible how Elmas managed to mess that up. In fact, I think I should give Elmas a 6 just for having missed that chance. But I gave him a 6.5 because apart from that, I thought he came on and actually did really well. I liked his dribbling. I liked his intensity. But yeah, he did miss, I think, a great chance to kill the game. And then everybody else that came on did really well. Mertens, I liked. Petagna even. I just felt like they came on with the right energy. Demme helped out in the middle. And then Politano was just great when he came on. Just like Osimhen on that right-hand side. He was running riot. So for me, these are the player ratings. Let's see. Cleto is saying, no, not you, Dom. I think he's talking to someone else, to some other person who said some other thing. So yeah, I mean, sometimes the chat goes and talks about other stuff and then I can't keep up. But you guys know that. You guys follow me since a long time. IDB is saying, Osimhen was the only one who created our attacks. Can't say he didn't deserve it. He created 2-3 really cutting-edge chances. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Osimhen, right, is what people don't realize about Osimhen is that everything he does, he's the one that creates it. It's not like other strikers. Like when another striker misses a chance, it's the whole team that worked to give the striker that chance, right? With Osimhen, it's not like that. The team literally just long ball towards him, and then he's got to do all the work. He's got to get to the ball first. He's got to then shrug off the defender. He's then got to run towards the goal. He's then got to look up and see if there's anyone to pass it to. He's then got to do this and that and this and that. He's doing everything by himself there. There's very little occasions where someone gave Osimhen the ball just on a plate and Osimhen missed. It's never, whenever Osimhen misses, he created that himself in the first place. So it's very hard to criticize Osimhen. I think he's been fantastic for us. And then the bicycle kick, guys. I mean, as I said, I think he came this close to scoring from a bicycle kick like that. I think if he scored that, Naples would have gone mad, as if we had won the league title with a goal like this. I think the Serie A should have just given us the title at that point, let alone finish the game. It was just a crazy bicycle kick. And Spalletti 7, because Italiano's a very good coach. He went up against maybe the second or third best coach in the league today and came away with a victory away from home. He understood what we needed to do. The set piece that we scored, that's prepared on the training ground by Spalletti. So let's not forget that. It didn't happen by accident, that free kick. Yes, Zielinski was great. Rahmani was great, but prepared by Mr. Spalletti. So great stuff from him. The substitutions, once again, everyone played well. They were all correct. He hasn't messed up his substitutions yet, and we come away with a win. So great stuff by Spalletti, and what he said at halftime really worked. So I'm super happy about that. Let's see some of the next games that we've got. We've got, after the break, Torino at home. Torino is against Ivan Juric, who probably deserves more points than what he got against Juventus. They probably deserve the draw. So that's going to be a tough game. Then we go and play against Legia, and that's a must-win game as well, since we lost against Spartak. So we can't even say, oh, we're going to rest some players against Legia. No. We've got to play a full squad against Legia. And then we play Roma, which is another really tough game. Roma at home is always going to be tough. And then we've got Bologna. Bologna played really well yesterday. They won 4-0. So we've got four games from the 17th to the 28th of October. And if you're in America, you're going to read all those numbers wrong. But, I mean, most of the world says it like this: the days, then the months. Anyways, whatever. So for those days, we've got 4 really tough games in the span of 11 days. And then we play against Salernitana, and that's finally a breather, in my opinion. It is a derby, but a team with 4 or 5 changes even, I think, would beat Salernitana comfortably. But the players that come on for that game need to be fired up. They can't think, oh, it's just Salernitana. No. We can play Petagna. We can play Elmas. We can play whoever you want. We can play whoever. I trust all of them. But they've got to come on and be prepared to grind out a result again in a derby. We saw against Benevento last year. We had to really grind out a result against Benevento. You know, it's a derby. Even though they're not a good team, you've got to be really on it on those games. IDB is saying, don't sleep on Juve. They can win 15 in a row, and they aren't a weak team by any means. Yeah, and yeah, they can win 15 in a row, but will they win 15 in a row? I think if they win 5 in a row, that's an achievement for this Juventus team. I think Juventus winning games right now almost feels like the opposition has more faults than Juve has merits. So for them to win 15 in a row, that's a lot of teams that mess up a lot of games. Torino messed up against Juventus. They took away all their strikers with 15 minutes to go. They played a 5-3-0 in the last 15 minutes and just absorbed Juventus for whatever reason. If they had kept 1 or 2 strikers, they would have kept Juventus a lot more busy at the back. Let's see what else people are saying. I wish Napoli would win. I've watched them yesterday against Torino. Jose Lora saying, great game. We were about to get hit by a cyclone in Muscat, Oman, but still supporting Lozano and Napoli. Man, that's crazy. Hope you're safe, man. Hope you're safe, Jose. Yeah, jeez. This guy, man, don't want my friends out here dying. Let's see. What else are we saying in the chat? Anyone else about? I think a lot of people almost died today, but with heart attacks rather than cyclones. Xenoflaw saying, do you think Lozano should be playing more? Yeah, I think. Look, Lozano and Politano, it's so difficult. As I said it in other streams. I feel like they both deserve it. They both deserve that spot. Today, Politano was much better than Lozano. Last time, Lozano was much better than Politano. It's literally 50-50. And I think, as I said before in other streams, whoever plays, I'm okay with. Because I know that if they have a good game, we're good. And if they have a bad game, the chances that the other guy also has a bad game are very small. So we're fine either way. And what I like about Spalletti is that he immediately identifies, all right, this guy's not having a great game today, let's take him off. Instead of waiting until the 80th minute, he always gives the other person at least half an hour. So, Politano today was dangerous several times. Jose Laura saying sandbags keeping water out. Man, that's crazy. Dude, this guy had to survive while watching Napoli. Oh my god, man. I hope you're safe. IDB is saying I was talking in reference to people writing them off. Napoli talk. All right. I don't remember what you said. Oh, about not sleeping on Juve. Right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't. Look, I wouldn't say Juventus are going to challenge for the title. They're going to come back into like the top 4 mix, but not the title, maybe. Lewis C is saying Juve will not win the Scudetto. I'll bet my yearly income on that. Ooh, yeah, confident, but probably true. Milan and Inter are better, and of course Napoli are better. Yeah, I for sure. Lorenzo Libutti, Politano and Boga, 2 most underrated players of Serie A. Yeah, I mean Lorenzo is a big Politano fan, big Politano fan. Yeah, I mean, Boga, I wouldn't say he's the most underrated. I wouldn't say he's the most underrated player. He's a baller. Boga's a baller. But I think Zielinski is the most underrated for sure. I don't think people realize how good Zielinski is. If Zielinski played for Real Madrid, he'd be in the top 30 for the Ballon d'Ors consistently every year. But he plays for Napoli and he doesn't get any credit. Maximus is saying you should watch this Atalanta-Milan game. It's a good one. What are they doing right now? Let me see what Milan is doing. It is still 1-0, I think, right? Let's see. Milan-Atalanta. Yeah, still 1-0. Calabria with a first-minute goal. Let's go into some of the stats, and then we'll take a look at Spalletti's press conference, all right? So just to wrap this up, a very, very difficult game for Napoli, and you can see that with the amount of possession that Fiorentina had, 55%. Pass accuracy, Fiorentina was slightly better. We have a low pass accuracy. So for those of you that follow me, you guys know that I really like to see between 84 and 88. That's like the perfect number for me because it shows that you have enough good passes and you're also messing up just the right amount, which shows that you were trying to do something a bit creative and trying to go forward. If you have like 100% pass accuracy, it just means you're playing it around the defenders. 80 is quite low. 80 means you were sloppy. So 84 to 88 is where I want to see it, and that's what Fiorentina were at. They also had more passes, so they had more of the ball. But a lot of fouls in this game from both sides. 3 yellow cards each. Not a lot of offsides. So maybe Napoli could have tested the Fiorentina backline a bit more, and Fiorentina with a lot of corners. Napoli not so much, but this is a good team. This is a good team, Fiorentina, and Napoli is just a slightly better team, a bit more cynical. And that's the table. This is what we love to see. You have to scroll quite far down to see where Juventus are, but I mean, the top 8 are all extremely good teams. Extremely good teams. And if Milan win today, they go to 19 points. They jump over Inter. If they draw, they stay at 17, and that gives us a bit of a buffer. Atalanta, if they lose, they stay at 11, and then it would be a huge gap between us and the likes of Lazio, Atalanta, Juventus. So, yeah, I mean, I cannot see Lazio, Atalanta, and Juventus catching up to Napoli. I just cannot see it. Also considering that Atalanta and Juve have the Champions League, so they can't rest any players. Unlike us in the Europa League, we might get the chance to rest some players at some point. Lazio, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, their form has been shocking. 1 win in the last 5, just the Rome derby. And Roma are sort of inconsistent. It's 1 yes, 1 no. So it really is between Inter, Milan, and Napoli at this point. And the bottom of the table is Salernitana, Spezia, Cagliari, which I think is what I said was going to be the bottom 3. So I'm guessing correctly. Guys. Let's see what the comments are saying. Wow, okay, I'll get it. I didn't know it was just... I don't know what they're talking about. The chat did some other stuff. Mbappe and Haaland, 2 most underrated players worldwide, says Lorenzo. Oh my God, man. Napoli talk. Mourinho and Spalletti had a really cheeky interaction on the zone. Did they? I need to check that out. Maybe it's part of the press conference that I'll read out. Let's go to Spalletti's press conference. Let's see what our boss man is saying. Let me load up his press conference. Let's see. So he's got the press conference. Koulibaly also spoke to DAZN. Spalletti spoke to DAZN. De Laurentiis as well. Let's start with De Laurentiis. So I know Spalletti's head is shown here, but De Laurentiis tweeted, "A great satisfaction. 7 out of 7 is proof of a really strong team. Congrats to everyone." That's De Laurentiis for you. Then Koulibaly had an interview as well with DAZN, and Koulibaly, they asked him if he had the perfect game, and he says, no, I wouldn't say I had the perfect game. We obviously conceded a goal, but we reacted quite well for the rest. We controlled the game. They started off really well, and they had a great push from their fans, but we managed to keep it tidy at the back, and in the second half, we scored with Rahmani, and we're super happy about that. And then they ask him about the fact that after the game everyone was like celebrating, and Koulibaly says, "Yeah, I'm always looking to keep everybody hyped up. We can't let go because right now we are the team to beat. I always told Frank Anguissa that he has a great game and he has to continue like this. Every player is super important for us. Everyone's a really nice guy, and I like to, make sure that I thank them all after the game. We're all happy. We're all fighting one for the other, and this is our group spirit, and I hope that this can stay until the end." They ask him about Spalletti's work in the defense, because we've not conceded many goals at all. And Koulibaly says, "Today we could have finished the game without conceding a goal, but we did get a goal. We still have the right, but in any case, we have the right mentality. Spalletti and the staff are helping us a lot, and they're giving us the right trust. We have to continue like this." And now Spalletti, so he had 2 interviews. One is a press conference and one with DAZN. Let's take a look at what he says at DAZN. So they ask him, "Did you expect this Napoli to perform like this?" And Spalletti saying, "Look, it wasn't easy today. Basically, we tried to play man against man all throughout the field, and to do that, you need to be physically on top. It wasn't easy, but we managed to get away with it. Up front, we have some really fast players, and with 1 or 2 passes, we can try to break the Fiorentina defense, and they're extremely hard to catch after that." Then they ask him, "How important were the subs today?" And he says, "Look, the 5 substitutions lengthened the game considerably compared to before, because before, when the game was at 2-0 and you only had 3 substitutions, it was pretty much over. But now with 5 substitutions, you can bring in even more attacking power. It puts those defenses under even more pressure, and so now maybe you need 3 goals in order to feel safe, because when you've got 5 fresh forwards that can come on, it makes a difference." He says it's a great advantage to have so many substitutions for a team like Napoli that is so strong offensively. We still, however, played under our possibilities today. In the second half, we didn't really manage to hurt them too much with Mertens and Petagna. But anyways, we did play a good game. Let's see. In the second half, also Anguissa played really well, much more than in the first half, because in the first half he didn't really find the right position on the field. But then sitting a bit deeper, he played much better. The subs really helped us, and with those guys in defense, you can really trust them. So, yeah, it seems like Rahmani is the official starting center back at this point. Let's see some of the comments. Rahmani over Manolas, says Anthony Navarro. 100%. 100%. Overall career, Manolas is very clear, but at Napoli, Rahmani's done better for sure, says ID Beats. I 100% agree with that as well. I think Manolas wanted to go back to Greece. And he's not really in it, and I think it's difficult for a player like him to, find his form again, because he's the type of player that needs to play a lot of games. The bigger players need to play consistently to find form. It's very hard for a big player to come on for the last 5 minutes and do well, or play only like once every 2 weeks. So it's tough for him to find the form. But for example, and when the game is almost like too easy, Manolas is not good. We saw that against Spartak. We saw that against Juventus when Manolas started and we were dominating, and then he lost the ball and Juventus scored. When the game is too easy, Manolas doesn't play well. Then when the game starts getting really physical, like after the red card from Mario Rui, and everybody was like fighting, Manolas lights up again. He forgets that he wanted to leave Napoli and he just wants to fight. And then he plays well. But when the game is like, 0-0, you're just starting off and Napoli has all the possession in the world, Manolas just sort of switches off. That's the thing with Manolas. Let's see. Then they ask him about Then they keep asking him about the defenders at Napoli, and he's saying, look, we only really suffered a few long balls to Vlahovic. We couldn't really, we didn't allow we couldn't get the midfielders to help out over there. But in any case, Fiorentina also are a great team. They use their wingers very effectively. We suffered a few times, but we were also good enough to have the opportunity to go 3-1 up, and we didn't score in quite a crazy way. And he's talking about the Elmas opportunity. We have to improve on that because we have to kill off games as soon as possible for next time. Let's see. Then they ask him about the condition of a few players, and he's saying that Mertens still needs to finish his recovery program. But it's for him to do that, he needs to start playing some more games. So he's basically saying, like, look, I'll put Mertens on the field. He's not going to be perfect, but he needs this to get back to the level that he needs to be at. Demme as well. And we needed him to play because the midfielders were exhausted. Lobotka is not ready yet. And we just have to hope that this break allows us to rest a few players. And they ask him about the goal that we scored, the free kick goal, how we had the little thing with Insigne, then Zielinski, and everything just seemed perfect, as if you're playing a PlayStation. And Spalletti says, I told them to do that set piece because Dortmund did that, and the match analyst showed us, and it worked effectively. So congrats to the match analyst at Napoli. Kind of has my dream job, but congrats. I won't be salty about that. I think his name is, let me see, what's his name? Because I looked him up this week. I was like, who's the match analyst for Napoli? Simone Beccaccioli. Okay? So congrats to Simone for being so good this year. You know, he has my dream job, but you know what? I'll let him have it. As long as we're winning, I'll let him have it. If we start losing, Simone, watch out. I'm going to start applying. Anyways, no. Let's see. Let's see what else Spalletti says. Yeah. Actually, it might be another guy because he says yeah, maybe it's him, or maybe it's a guy called Calzona. I don't know, because Spalletti is also mentioning that guy's name. I don't know. There's probably a few, to be fair, probably Napoli has a few match analysts. Then there's the press conference that Spalletti has. They ask him more questions, but this one's a bit shorter. And they say, is this the most suffered victory that you have? And he's saying, look, every victory we always suffer. If you go under, then keeping the right equilibrium and also reacting is extremely difficult. My team, though, has superior potential compared to what we showed in the first half. I expected us to find the right path in the second half and hurt Fiorentina's defense a bit more. They pressed really, really strongly, as I showed in the analysis, but remaining so high up the field for so long is not easy, and we managed to hurt them on the counter a few times. And we showed a lot of maturity, we showed a lot of strength. A lot of players played on Thursday, and after 95 minutes of the ones that we did on Thursday playing in 10 men, it's very difficult to then find the right mental and physical energy to play against Fiorentina. It showed that we are dealing with extremely professional players and they're fully committed. This group is beautiful. They give me everything, and my work is made easier with these guys. They asked him about Insigne's reaction because he was a little mad at being subbed, and he's saying, no, Insigne told me that he still had energy, and I'll just take that into consideration next time. Next time I'll let him play a bit more. So that's Insigne, because obviously Insigne got taken off in the first half against Spartak, sacrificed after that red card. So obviously he would have had still some energy today. But, the sub happened. We won the game. Let's forget about it. Insigne is fundamental for us. Let's not create a problem, especially not before he signs that renewal. They ask him, is he ready for the Scudetto, Spalletti? And he says, look, this team also has a few defects. We are losing too many duels. We have to be much better in some phases of the game. When the ball is in the air, we have to be able to win more of that. And we basically respect our opposition still a bit too much. That phase is very important, and we need to be more physical still. So basically Spalletti is saying the only thing that's missing for this Napoli team to win the Scudetto is that we still need to be more physical. Anguissa helped a lot. Demme coming back will help a lot. Mertens, even though he's quite small and everything, he's quite physical. He loves to get stuck in. So I think we'll be okay. And when Gulam comes back, if he can get back in shape, he's big, he's tall, maybe that's going to be useful as well. And they ask him about his 7 out of 7 win streak. And Spalletti is saying, look, man, I've in the past won 11 in a row. So, let's not get carried away with this. And that's it from Spalletti, guys. So that covers everything. We have a break. We come back, as I showed previously, we come back on the 17th. That's 2 weeks away. In 2 Sundays against Torino. In the meantime, I'm hoping to make a video or two. I might do one of those ones where I rank stuff. I might continue to do the ranking of Napoli players in the De Laurentiis era. I started that like a year ago, and I've done 2 parts, and I still need to get through another like 100 players. So I might do that video. I might do another ranking video where I rank the Serie A teams. I might do one maybe about our sponsors and, the sponsors. I have a few ideas. The fact that we have 2 weeks off means I'll definitely get 1 or 2 videos out there. So yeah, we'll have fun. We'll have fun in these 2 weeks. I'm not gonna disappear. If I do, then I don't know. Maybe something got in the way, but I'll surely be back for the Torino game, guys. Anyways, 7 out of 7, guys. 7 out of 7. Let's not forget that. Let's make sure that we never forget that, and we keep this enthusiasm up until Torino, guys. Anthony is saying, not a defender, just holding the ball. I don't know who he's talking about. I keep losing track of the chat, and I read random comments, and then I don't know what they're talking about. Sorry, man. Sorry, Anthony. Lewis C saying, Napoli 35% of winning Serie A, highest than anyone. That's quite high. 7 games in, 35% chance. Who's saying that, man? Is it the bookies? That's quite high. That's crazy. Let's see. Victor Sani is saying, do you think Osimhen can compete on the level of Mbappe and Haaland? Those guys are machines. Those guys are goal-scoring machines. I think... Honest answer is no. Honest answer is no, because I cannot see Osimhen... The Osimhen right now does too much work to score the same amount of goals as those guys. Whether he can be more important than them, yes. I think he can single-handedly take us to somewhere really special. But Osimhen does so much work, from the halfway point, and he procures himself so many chances. Whereas I feel like Haaland just needs to, slot the ball. He's a killer in the box. Osimhen is more the type of guy that if we're struggling in a game, he's gonna lift us up. But Haaland, it's like you put the ball in the box for him, and then he's gonna score. And I feel like those kind of strikers just naturally get more goals, is my opinion about it. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I just feel like Haaland is just such a beast. I mean, the numbers don't lie. Victor, if he can improve some aspects of this game, then he can get very close. But Mbappe and Haaland are here, and then everyone else is below. It just is what it is, man. It is what it is. Anthony saying, Osimhen, listen to my DM. Yeah, so Anthony showed me on Instagram that he wrote to Osimhen, and Osimhen replied back, and sending good vibes to Osimhen, and he replies back, that's crazy, and maybe that helped him have a good performance today. Napoli Talk, I have to ask you this: thoughts on Insigne missing 3 of his last 5 penalties? Is that sample size too small, or would you rather see Osimhen get a chance like most top strikers? I don't think Osimhen is... I wouldn't trust Osimhen because I don't think he's got the technique. So, for example, one of the things he needs to improve on is his technique. I cannot see Osimhen having the same quality as that. But for example, I would like to see Politano take penalties if Politano is on the field. I think he's really good at those. He did well at Sassuolo when he was taking penalties. I think if Politano's not on the field, I would have players like Fabian. I just want players that I know can put the ball in the corner. I feel like Osimhen is almost too emotional at times, and I honestly wouldn't trust him with a 90th minute penalty. Whereas someone like Fabian, who's much more cool, calm, collected, I would trust him with a penalty. The reason why Insigne didn't score today, you could see it on his face. He wasn't really emotionally in check. And, you know, penalties are a lot about emotion. So I wouldn't want someone so emotional like Osimhen on a penalty, is my opinion. So, yeah. But it's a good question. And I think maybe Napoli do need to take a bit of a look at that. Because 3 out of 5 is a high number of misses. And we can't afford to do that. So, IDB is saying Politano is the same as Insigne on pens. He's pretty unsure with them. But I feel like Politano doesn't suffer the pressure that maybe someone like Insigne would. Because Insigne, you know... Anyway, Insigne is a good penalty taker, but yeah, we'll see. I've never seen Fabian take a penalty. I feel like he'd be good at them. I feel like he'd be, you know, nice, calm, collected. If not, just get Koulibaly to do it. This guy doesn't suffer at all from pressure. Whoever doesn't suffer from pressure, basically. By the way, Tonali scored again for Milan, 2-0. Right, so that's it, guys. Top 4 includes Inter, Milan, and Napoli. Milan, I don't see them missing out on top 4 this year. I think they're a good team. Inter, obviously not. And Napoli, I don't think the other teams will be able to catch up if it stays like that. It's going to be already a 10-point gap to the various Lazio, Atalanta, and Juventus. So I think then it's about Roma having to fight out top 4 with those other 3 teams. Maybe even with Fiorentina. Anyways. Kanahun saying Politano did miss one in preseason. That's true. Right, so whatever. Let Koulibaly take penalties. He's going to score them. We trust Koulibaly. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go make some dinner. I hope you guys have a great rest of the night, a great evening, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre.